You're listening to KEXP at 90.3 FM in Seattle, streaming live around the world at KEXP.org. I'm Cheryl Waters here on the Midday Show. I am so excited to have tUnE yArDs live in studio today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So great to see you.
Likewise.
And you have a brand new album coming out this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You going to play songs from that one?
Yep.
The new record called I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life. It's tUnE yArDs live on KEXP.
Story, man. I came to get down, but you're not telling my story, man. Came to get down, but you're not telling my story, man. I came to get down, but you're not telling my story, man. Came to get down, but you're not. Came to get down, but you're not telling my story, man. Came to get down, but you're not telling my story, man. Came to get down, but you're not. Lots of things to go.
That sounds fantastic. That is tUnE live on KEXP. Look at Your Hands and Home from the upcoming album, I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life. That comes out on 4AD Records this Friday. And it is magical to hear you perform those live in studio.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, I look at you performing those. It's just such a joyous, kind of theatrical performance. And I know the record's not even out yet. And how much have you played these songs so far? And is this how it is in the recording studio? Because there's so much sound, you know, in the machines that you're playing with as well. How different is it to do it live?
We did our homework this time, by which I mean we really wanted to have a lot of live experience under our belt before we started touring. So Hamir started playing with us almost a year ago, right? And we started, you know, just rehearsing in our studio in Oakland, and we wanted, this isn't what it was like in the recording studio at all. So I think we really needed to
figure out how to transfer the recorded material live, and so gratefully we've had a lot of time with each other, so it's feeling really great.
You mentioned Hamir. Of course, Nate is here, and Meryl Garbus. And did you record at John Vanderslyce's new tiny telephone? Tell me about the experience of recording and what the new, I think of that as being sort of a vintage analog sort of a studio. And you kind of have definitely some touchstones in the past, love the 80s sort of references, but I guess I don't think of the making of your sound as a vintage experience.
Totally fair. I think that, we worked with Bo Sorensen, who's an incredible engineer, and Bo is super into Buchla synths, and so a lot of the drum, we were using drum machines at the start of writing the record, and we knew that we wanted to run the drum machines through different equipment so that we could get, not just a standard sound, but really some kind of wild card sounds from the drum machine. So Tiny Telephone has incredible equipment that they maintain fastidiously. So they have all these great 80s delays that we used a lot of, and Bo brought in his Buchla synths, and we ran a lot of stuff through them. And there's a lot on the cutting room floor too. So I'm excited to go back to this material sometime and see what we did there, because we were able to have some pretty magic times there.
When you explain it, a lot of those things that I think of as new contemporary sounds, actually, they are vintage. A lot of time has gone by, and
right.
forget how much is behind us. You started out doing solo stuff all yourself, and you have over the years built on your sound, and it's fun to hear you talk about new stuff that you get to do all the time. I know you've traveled extensively, and some of your travels have made its way into your music, and I'm wondering if there were any sort of unique experiences that fed into the making of this record.
I think every record feels like a record of my journey as a human, I guess, which is kind of awkward sometimes, because it means that I'm growing up in front of the public. So this time I think that there were some experiences that really made me want to go inward, kind of do some reflection on what I wanted from tune yards, what we wanted from tune yards. We're not getting younger; it's going the other direction, and trying to understand the impact of what we do, or the lack thereof. And I think we're a band. I particularly have been influenced by a lot of music from the African diaspora, and it means, that means a lot, and I feel like there's a lot of responsibility that I, as a white musician, want to bring to the way I do this work. So I did a lot of kind of introspection, and also did some work specifically on whiteness, on white privilege, and I'm lucky to live in the Bay Area, where there are a lot of people doing that work, and kind of helping us white people understand what that means, and understand our role in racial injustice.
You have brought a lot of musicians' music to the forefront through a project that you work on outside of tune yards, or sort of in conjunction with tune yards. Can you tell us a little bit about CLAW?
Sure. It stands for Collaborative Legions of Artful Women, and it is a show that features female-identifying producers, and mostly rappers, but often we'll have songwriters of different sorts come in. So we had Senia Rubinos, who I know has been here. I saw her handwriting in the back in the green room, collaborating with Samus, who's a rapper, and Olga Bell. So every month we try to do a collaborative track where we give 2 or 3 women money in order to come together and work on a collaboration. And then the show just features, the show features music primarily by women producers, which to me was really important, because I wasn't, I'd say, hey, do you know any women producers? And I would get blank stares. So now I have a spreadsheet full of hundreds, almost thousands of women producers, which feels really good.
I recognize a handful of names in the artists that you've worked with, but there's a lot of discovery there, which is exciting. And this is a monthly project, and you have 3 years of work there. Can you tell our listeners how they can access that info and that content?
That's a good question. It's the second Monday of every month. The show streams live on redbullradio.com. And then there are at times replays. So if you go to redbullradio.com and look for Claw, search for Claw, there are often backlogged episodes there as well, or at least mention of where when they'll be aired next.
That's exciting. We're so excited to have tUnE yArDs live here in the KEXP studios, coming back to Seattle February 26th and playing the Showbox. And actually, as you pick up your ukulele, I want to ask you one last question to remind me.
Please.
You have such a theatrical way of performing. As I said, there's just so much energy and joy and so much going on. You play the ukulele, you've got loops, and you have the keys going. You're dancing around a little bit, electronics, and of course the vocals. Are you able? You mentioned that you rehearse a lot too, but are you able to sort of lose yourself and, be? I don't.
Yeah, good. Relax.
Yes, because that is a lot that you are doing over there.
Someday I'll just be a lead singer and I'll just have a mic. Well, Hamir has been, I used to do a lot more of the drumming, so having Hamir has been, has allowed me to really back off of what I'm technically responsible for. Hamir and Nate have been playing together for a really long time in the Bay Area, and so they provide a rhythm section pocket that I can just nestle into.
So you only have to do 30 things instead of 50. tUnE yArDs live on KEXP. The new album, I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life, comes out this Friday, and another song from that one coming up, if I'm not mistaken, ABC 123. Mm-hmm.
Sun burned down on me atop this hill so I can see. My skin boils red and scabs and stings, but I must be witness to everything. Fan the fire or face the crowd. California's burning down, sitting in the middle of a sixth extinction, silently suggesting the investment in a generator.
Because I thought you'd see it my way. I looked for freedom and I found it on the highway. No other option, so I'm peeling out the driveway. Sing those brand new ABCs. ABC
Is that part pre-rehearsed?
No, never done it before. Never done it before.
It's giving me a heart attack, we jump so high but fall right back. Giving me a heart attack, don't let me lose my soul. Giving me a heart attack, we jump so high but fall right back. Giving me a heart attack, don't let me lose my soul. She drew up the night and she drew up the dawn. She drew up the night and she drew up the dawn. She was there until she was gone. Oh, I'll tell you the story if you will listen. Let me speak. Let me breathe. Oh, let me breathe. Oh, it's giving me a heart attack. Don't let me lose my soul. Oh, no, no, no. Giving me a heart attack, we jump so high but fall right back. Giving me a heart attack, don't let me lose my soul. Giving me a heart attack, we jump so high but fall right back. Giving me a heart attack, don't let me lose my soul. I'm only human. I'm only human. I'm only human. She drew up the night and she drew up the dawn. She drew up the night and she drew up the dawn. She was there until she was gone. Oh, I'll tell you the story. If you ain't listened that long, let me breathe. Let me breathe. Oh, let me breathe. Oh, it's giving me a heart attack. Don't let me lose my soul.
Ah, that voice. tUnE Yard's live on KEXP. I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life comes out this Friday. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful always to see you.
Likewise, thanks so much for having us.
They're coming back to Seattle. They're playing on February 26th at the Showbox, the night before in Portland at Wonder Ballroom. You've got to tune to KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at KEXP.org.